What's up, boys? Lencac here, and you know where I'm at. You know, I'm at the range. It's going to be a pretty nice day. It's not as cold as it was the other day when I was out here. Froze my ass off. But I got a little planned today, and so I'll tell you what that is. And as usual, there is the mighty 17-second indestructible Crown Vic. But so today, I have a format I've come up with that I want to try today. And first and foremost, what I'm going to do is let you know that this is going to be a comparison again against the Scope K30 Private Series K31 against my National Match M1A that I just put a barrel on. And so this is what I've done. I have loaded up 25 rounds for each. Each rifle, I gave the M1 its first cleaning, and both rifles are clean. And I'm going to take 5 rounds for each rifle, and I'm going to use 5 rounds to just get them, kind of make sure they're zeroed pretty good and foul them up a little bit. And then I'm going to shoot 2 20-shot strings, a 20-shot string out of the M1A and a 20-shot string out of the K31 without, if I can do it, if nobody shows up to distract me here. So far I got the range to myself, because I want to see how these things perform if they get, because usually, you know, I'll run 5-shot groups, you know, and then let the gun cool, that sort of thing. But this time what I want to do is I want to see how they perform if I'm running 20-shot, consecutive 20-shot strings through it. I'm going to put my fouling and zeroing rounds through the center bullseye there, and then I'm going to use the 4 corners. I'm going to put 10 rounds into each of the 4 corners there. The loads I'm using are basically, I'm using the same bullet, the same powder, and same primer for both cartridges, the 308 and the 7.5x5.5. And I'm using by request of one of my YouTube viewers. And of course, because I don't have the obligatory 2 million subscribers, I'm able to respond to just about all my comments and this sort of thing. Anyways, one of my YouTube viewers says, I'd be curious to see how those would work with some Vidivori powder. So I did find some N150 powder. And so I just want to see how these things will compare today. And once again, it's basically just a bullshit reason so I can get out here to the range and do some shooting. But that's my excuse for it today. But at any rate, guys, you know the drill. I got to get set up still, and put my target down range, that sort of thing. But I'm going to. That's how I'm going to do this today. So let's see how this thing pans out. All right, guys. I am back in the saddle again, so to speak. But like I laid out for you what my plan is today, so we'll see how that goes. And take these off. All right, and so for the K31, what I've got loaded are Nosler 175 grain RDF rounds on top of 45 grains of Vidivori N150 powder. These are seeded 25 thousandths off the lands. I have a base to ogive of 2-inch 280, and the base to the throat is a 2-inch 305. And so let's see how these work. I'm going to put 5. Like I say, I'm going to take 5 shots with each rifle to get them fouled and make sure they're reasonably zeroed. So this is what how I want to make this comparison. I'm going to have 10 shots in each corner for each rifle, and then to make the comparison of accuracy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take up to the worst 3 rounds of a 10-shot group, and I'm going to throw them out. So that leaves us 7 rounds that I will actually use to measure. And I think what that'll do is that'll help alleviate some of the human error, the pilot error that I incur while I'm doing it. Hopefully, we'll see how that works. But so that's what I'm going to do. The 3 worst shots in a 10-shot group I'm going to throw out, and we'll measure the remaining 7. But so anyways, that's what I go. And right now, what I'm going to do is I am going to put these first 5 fouling rounds into the center target. So let's see how that goes. I may end up making some adjustments a little bit. Just depends on how the fouling rounds go. All right, here we go. Take a look. See where that one went. I'm not able to see it. Let me turn up my power ring here. I have both rifles. I'm going to do both rifles at 14 power. I don't see it there. It's got to be there somewhere. I'm going down range. I got to look and see where it went. All right, guys, there was my round just now. And I was aiming here. If you remember, the last time I shot that was with 168 grain match rounds, and it was pretty much, it was a little bit low down here, but that's considerably low. This, I wouldn't think that a little heavier bullet and the change of powder like that would have made that much difference, but apparently it did. So I went back, I did a bore sight on it again, kind of adjusted it for where it was going there, so we'll see how it goes. You saw that. I found it. It was on the very bottom edge of the paper target, which is a hell of a lot of difference from where it was the last time I shot it. I didn't do anything other than clean it. So it has to do with the bullet and the powder combination. But at any rate, using that as a reference, I made some adjustments. And so let's try it again. Nothing like starting it off with a major league snafu, huh? I suppose I gotta put my hearing protection in. All right, let's see if we can get in the center black target again. I can tell by the feel of it and the look at the primer that this N150 powder, with the amount of powder I put in it, is a very gentle load. I'd be curious to chronograph these things and see, because I can just feel it, I can tell. I see where that's at. That is at the bottom edge, pretty much 6 o'clock, bottom edge of the center target. So I'm going to make an elevation adjustment. We're going to get this thing up to where it belongs here. I think we need to. All right, I think we're ready to rock and roll here. Made an adjustment for elevation. Looks like that went way high. Let's dial it down. Okay, we're getting closer. We got one more to go. Now that it's getting fouled a little bit, I'm going to take that as being a good indicator. and I'm going to give it 4 clicks up. That's where it's going to have to be. All right, that's bullseye. All right, took me the whole five fouling rounds to get it there, but I'm going to call that good to go at this point. All right, I think it's ready to go for my my test. All right, guys, there's my remaining other 4 shots. You saw the first one went way low, almost off the parking paper altogether. So I made an adjustment, arbitrary adjustment. It went to there. Then I made an over adjustment. It went to there. Moved another adjustment there, and then my final 5th shot was there. So I think for my purposes today, what we're doing, I think that should be good. But all right, guys, we got the mighty M1A up here now. National match M1A. All right, I'm going to load my 5 fouling rounds into the magazine. And these are the same Nosler 175 grain RDF rounds on top of 43 grains of Vitavori N150 powder. And I hope this doesn't exhibit the same change of impact as much as the K31 showed with this powder. I'm sure it's the powder, it has to be. I've shot these rounds before out of that rifle before the 175er, so it has to be the powder that is the big difference. But let's get my fouling rounds done on this one. Looks like it's a couple inches high. It flattened the primer a little bit more than the K31, not much though. So that's kind of an indicator I use as a guide to see if the loads are too hot or that sort of thing. Looks like it's high. Kind of weird. In light of what it did with the K31, I think that's kind of weird. Of course, I did have this thing sighted before with the 168 rounds for 200 yards, which I haven't changed back since the last time I shot it. I gave it eight clicks down. That should be 2 minutes of angle. All right. Oh yeah, that's right in there. I think today this might be a tough one to beat. Okay, that's my 5 fouling rounds for each rifle. Alright guys, there's my 5 fouling rounds with the M1. And my very first shot was there. Second shot there, I made an adjustment for elevation. And then it went bang, 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 I think. So that's pretty good. I think we're going to leave it right there. And let's get to shooting my 20-shot strings. Alright guys, I'm going to start my 20-shot string sequence. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to put 5 in the magazine at a time. Something I noticed about the N150 powder, which on the burn rate chart is supposed to be similar to Reloader 17 or IMR 4350. But I noticed that the N150, the grain was smaller than both of those. And so it basically did not fill the case as much. And in light of what I'm seeing here, without putting the chronograph over it, I would say it would be a given that I could probably be well served to maybe put another grain or maybe 2 grains of Vitavori powder into this load if I were to use it again. These rounds I loaded up are pretty good quality, you know, for the most part. I try to do my best, but they're not OCD quality. You know, I didn't go to every last nth degree, but they're pretty good. Okay, there's the first 10. Time to move it down to the lower left-hand target. All right, there's a 20-shot string. I'm gonna take and see if it feels how much it warmed up the barrel. Oh yeah. Yeah, this thing got warm, no doubt about it. Let's go down range and take a look and see what we got. We got the mighty M1A up on the bench again. And I'm going to do like I did with the K31. I'm going to put 5 in the magazine at a time. And I am going to shoot at the upper right-hand corner target. And you know, what I was curious about on the K31 is I wanted to see if when the barrel would get hot, if it would still string the rounds down. And apparently it did. And so I don't know if my original hypothesis might still hold true, because it did that with the other private series I had that scope on, and it seems it's doing with this one too. Alright guys, here's my first 5. Quit flapping my jaws and start doing some shooting. All right, that's 20. I guess what's left to do now is to go down, get my target, see how it all sizes up. All right, guys, you're looking at my M1A groups, my 10-shot groups. Looks like it didn't do too bad. Looks like I said, I'm going to throw the worst 3 out from each 10 shots and measure the remaining 7. But it looks like on the second group for the M1, started getting them pretty much right in there. So at any rate, guys, let me pull my target off and we're going to take a look at it. I want to try something here with the K31. You saw my string, my 20-shot string. As I'm starting to wonder about when it warms up, how with the scope on it, the rounds want to string down. And as I explained before, I'm wondering if it has to do with the tension because of the screw that tightens this whole scope mount up. It's putting pressure like this right here on the barrel. And so I'm wondering in a small way when it gets warmed up if that is what caused it, because it basically did the same thing with my other private series K31. If you remember those videos I went through playing with it, wondering if the scope was mounted properly and stuff. And at this point the scope, there's nothing wrong with the scope mount holding steady, but it's kind of odd. But now the rounds I got in it, these are Nosler 175 grain RDF rounds too, but these are in IMR 4350, and when I started the string with these bullets using the Vitavori powder, you saw how that first shot was way, way low. I had to adjust the scope way up. So what I'm going to do is these first 2 rounds, these rounds I have here were a test I was doing for velocity. So I've got 2 rounds that are loaded with 44 grains of IMR 4350. Then I have 3 rounds that are loaded with 45 grains and 5 rounds that are loaded with 46 grains. And so I don't know, I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. This isn't going to be the most controlled test, but I'm wondering if I can kind of just, and these rounds were loaded OCD because I checked everything. I weighed them to exact bullet weights and matched cases and indexed the run out and blah, blah, blah. But so at any rate, let's see. Now, because I had to raise the elevation a lot for the N150 powder, I'm assuming that with the IMR 4350, these bullets are going to shoot high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim between the 2 red dots underneath the center target. Oh yeah, that's way high. And so I'm going to make an adjustment. It's also to the right, but I am going to make an adjustment that's going to bring it down. All right, I corrected it for windage and elevation arbitrarily. I hate using big words on you guys. Just kidding. Yeah, that wasn't too bad of an arbitrary adjustment, huh? All right, so now I'm going to put in 3 rounds that are 45 grains of IMR 4350. So you can tell, obviously you can see the difference that you can see the huge difference that the powder made between the IMR 4350 and the N150 powder. Those are 3 pretty good shots right there. All right, now I got 5 rounds with 46 grains of IMR 4350, and of course these are all loaded same seating depth as the ones I did the 20-shot string with. So at this point in time, I would have to say it's definitely the powder that made that huge difference in the point of impact. If what I'm thinking is what I'm thinking that by the time I get done with this 5-shot string, once again, the bullets are going to come down a little bit. That one I didn't shoot all that well. I could tell I was just a little sloppy on the whole thing. That last round came down a little bit. I think between the like the 7th and 8th shot, 9th shot is where that starts to happen. Interesting. Okay guys, that was my first shot with the same bullet, 175 grain RDF round up here. My aim point was down here. That's with IMR 4350. Look how much difference that makes. Unbelievable. So I don't know, that's quite astounding. It would make that much difference. But anyways, I made a scope adjustment. That was my first shot after the scope adjustment. And then the rest of them here. And as I suspected, as the barrel started getting hot, it looked like it wanted to pull them down a little bit. So I don't know, that's a kind of a weird anomaly. I'd kind of like to know if that's something I can do about it, or if it has to do with the scope mount and how it puts pressure on the barrel. Okay guys, I think I've taken care of what I wanted to do, so I think it's time to try to beat hell out of the steel post at 200 yards. I've got 10 rounds here. They're not the same load that I just shot my 20-shot string with. These are 168 grain Nosler match rounds, custom competition rounds. And they are on top of 42 grains of IMR 4895. So I don't know where this is going to go. Might be good, might not. Who knows? Let's find out. Okay, guys. Time to see if we can show that old steel post some respect. I think that was a hit. That was a miss. Bingo! Showed that thing some respect. Alright guys, this is how we're going to do the measuring of the targets. I'm going to, like I said before when I was shooting, I'm going to eliminate the 3 worst shots of each 10-shot group. And then I'm going to measure the remaining 7. And how I'm going to measure them, I think, is I've gave this some thought. I'm going to come up with a numerical value. And I'm going to measure them, the group, the remaining 7, I'm going to measure it horizontally and vertically. And then I'm going to add those 2 numbers together. And ultimately, the one that has the smallest dimension, adding horizontal and vertical measurements together, is going to be the winner. I think it's going to be pretty close though, but let's do some eliminating of shots first. This one's got to go, obviously. This one's got to go. And this one's got to go on that target. Okay? And this side here is the K31. This side here is the M1A. That one's got to go. That one's got to go. And I think this one's got to go too. So we'll black that one out. Now on the other ones down here, I think we're going to take, and obviously, see, because you see how as the K31 got heated up, it started stringing around, started going lower. My point of aim was always the center of the bullseye. And so all I can do on this one is I'm going to eliminate these bottom 3 right here. We'll measure that those 10 that way. And on the other one here for the M1A, the second group for the M1A, I'm going to get rid of this one and these 2. Okay? Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eliminate this one. Let's do this over. I'm going to eliminate that one, and we are going to eliminate these 2 down here. So we're going to use these. That's going to narrow up. That is going to narrow up the width of it. Okay? All right, now this is what I come up with. These 2 groups are the K31, and this group, adding the height by width, comes out to a pretty good 1.685. And the second group, which opened up quite a bit down here, it had a total of 3.035, with a total for both of them being 4.720. And then on the M1A, so the M1A is total for width and height on the first group is 2.635, and this will be a 5 also then. Sorry, got my numbers mixed up. And then on the second group here, we got a total of 1.780. Added those both together, I come up with 4.415. This one is 4.7 720. So in that respect, the M1A comes out a little bit ahead, but it wasn't that far off. But now let me interject this here. If I take and put this in the mix with, if I put the last group I shot with a K31, 10 rounds using with the IMR powder, and I take the 1.685 plus this group, which is 2.350, that equals 4.035 both. See that? So now if you take those two, if you use this one and this one from the K31, I think I actually get a little bit better, you end up with a little bit better group, size-wise, height added by width, than with the M1A. But if I actually go by the powder, using the Vitavori powder in the second group, which just started stringing them low, then the M1 wins. So at any rate, guys, I don't know, kind of nonsensical, I know, but perhaps some of you can make a little bit of sense out of it. And I don't know, I found it a little bit of an interesting little comparison today. All right, guys, this is Lencac, over and out.